are a nonprofit, membership-driven organization that promotes speaking and leadership skills. My name is Doris, and I'm welcoming my guest today, Tim. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, Doris. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, sure. Seems like fun.
I'm curious to know, how did you learn about Toastmasters?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but if I can give you just a little background. I'm the founder and director of a nonprofit art organization in Bath, New Hampshire. And our first board president is a friend and neighbor, and he's the retired president of a Fortune 500 company. And so he knows speaking.
Right.
He managed 5,000 employees and spoke to customers all around the world. And he recommended Toastmasters.
No kidding.
So it took me a while to get around to joining.
Right.
But when I did, it was way more than I expected.
So what was the goal to join for you? What was the skills that was bringing you to the meeting to develop?
Well, I think I interact with people well, but I tend to freeze up in a formal setting if I'm trying to give a speech or a presentation, which I need to do to promote the nonprofit.
Right, right. So now you're in a position now where you're encouraged to be in a leadership role, and it's game on, and you're like, oh, I'm freezing up. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
Exactly.
Right.
That wasn't in my skill set. And I've only been with Toastmasters for about 10 months.
Wow, okay.
But it's already made a significant difference.
No kidding.
Well, I've gone to universities to speak to students.
Wow.
We've had open houses and other events at our organization, and Toastmasters has given me the strength to go ahead with that.
Right, right.
There's still far more to learn from Toastmasters. It's an ongoing process. And there are many facets of Toastmasters that you might not expect.
Right. Well, give me an example of one.
Well, one is that it's more than just public speaking per se, but it's a confidence builder. And there are different paths you can take in Toastmasters.
Yeah.
But each person can choose their own pace and their own path. There's not pressure.
Right.
So you can work with what you need to do to advance your speaking skills or leadership roles within a very supportive environment.
Right, and you can also have a mentor with you to help you with those projects and goals that you would have for yourself.
Yes.
So in terms of public speaking, what has been your largest audience so far?
Well, at our recent open house, we had 200 people.
Lovely.
Which is would have been very daunting for me not too long ago.
And there you were speaking to a crowd, giving tours, walking around, making eye contact, smiling, appearing confident, because if you were nervous, I would have never known that.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's true. Is there a specific role that resonates with you, Tim, in terms of when you do go to the meeting?
Sure. There are many roles in Toastmasters that help not only the person who assumes the role, but everyone involved. But the one that I enjoy the most, I haven't tried them all, but is the role of grammarian. So in a meeting, the grammarian looks for grammatical errors, but they also have the fun of picking a word for the evening, which everyone tries to incorporate into their speaking that night. So that it's just a fun thing to do.
I love that. That's a really good point. It's also a great way for us to develop our vocabulary, not utilizing the same words all the time.
Yes.
And it is fun when we have a goofy word, we're like, we're never going to use that word, and then we end up using it for the entire meeting. And that's another way to develop our listening skills too, I would say, right?
Yes, definitely.
So for somebody that would be curious to learn more about the organization, what would you say?
Well, I would say, first of all, come to a meeting. I've never been a joiner. This is only the second club I've ever joined in my life.
Oh, wow.
The first one I joined as a teenager in an antique automobile club, which I still belong to. And so I'm reluctant when it comes to clubs.
Well, then we're honored to have you.
Well, I think if someone is interested, if they come to a meeting, they will discover that not only are the people warm and welcoming, but
Right.
it's an eclectic group. They're all different ages and types of people, and that's what makes it easier to be included, because
Right.
you'll find a space.
Exactly, exactly. And we all have different skills to bring to the table that we may be able to help each other. That I know that when I sometimes watch somebody speak, I will be fascinated by maybe their mannerism and how they're speaking, or it could just be their body language or whatever. And it's like, oh, maybe I can adapt that into when I present.
That's very true.
You know, where it's also, I may see something where, you know, they're fidgeting with their hands the whole time they're talking, and I'll think, wow, I probably did that at one time as well. So what can I do with my hands next time I'm speaking, right?
Yes.
Those little intricate details is really what we're trying to hone in on at our meetings. Great. Well, I'm really impressed. I mean, you just have at it, and here you are being interviewed on a TV show. Who would have thought, right?
Indeed.
This is great. So the future of Toastmasters will still be with us, right, Tim?
I would say.
And is your goal to complete your speeches in terms of your 10 speeches?
Well, I joined initially with the Speechcraft program,
Yes.
which is, I believe, in this club held annually.
Right. Can you
And-
share a little bit more about what that Speechcraft is, just so our audience members will know?
Sure. We basically, there's a workbook that you get,
Yeah.
and it has 3 speeches that you're to complete in the program
Right.
over a 6-week period. And each speech is a different degree of challenge
Right.
to your ability to speak in
Yeah.
public. And it was just enough of a formal platform
Right.
that you could work with it no matter how poor your skills were
Right.
or how advanced they were.
Right.
Because, as you mentioned, watching other people in the club and their use of hand motions while speaking, the way they project their voice,
Yeah.
the way they move around the stage or use the
Yes.
podium or not, all these things come into play.
Right.
And by doing those 3 speeches, you're underway.
Right.
Beyond that, I'm looking for the challenges that I'm facing
Yes.
as I go, as I return to colleges again this winter,
Right.
to encourage people, students, to come and work with us for the summer.
Right.
So that's where I'll be focusing next.
Right. So your speeches are going to be based on persuading, right? They're going to be
Yes.
informative. They're going to be encouraging, right? So it's a matter of just pulling them in and capturing them in terms of educating them on what your vision is and what your goals are.
Yes,
Fantastic.
exactly right.
Wow. Well, this has been great. Is there anything else you'd like to share about Toastmasters?
No, I think I said it in terms of if you're curious, come and see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to stop at a meeting and find out.
I agree, because you can visit as often as you'd like. There's no pressure to join. If you do want to work on projects, then we would encourage you to join at that time, of course. But free to visit as often as you'd like, and it all works from there. Awesome. Well, thank you, Tim. I really appreciate your time today.
Very welcome. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes with Toastmasters. If you're curious to learn more about our organization, feel free to visit us at toastmasters.org.